Hello, Mr. Salazar. I hope I didn't keep you waiting too long. Oh, yes, there was a small but important matter that needed my attention. Yes. Now, before we get started, I would like to ask which one of our offices recommended your client to us? Well, Mr. Salazar, there's no need to get upset. Um, you're correct. We did check your credentials, your ID, and everything else, but, well, if I'm honest, when it comes to our corporation, we have some individuals who work off of commission. We are an international company, and we just need to make sure that the right people get paid for recommending good, solid clients such as El Presidente. Yes, yes, I'm fully aware you are his representative, so I just need to confirm which office recommended your client to us. Ah, I see. The Berlin office. Yes, yes, we do get a surprising number of recommendations from the Berlin office. Well, now that that's cleared up, let's get started. Now, you mentioned that El Presidente is having issues with some pesky rebels. Well, I mean, he did come to power promising to get rid of bandits and all the horrible things they do, and I've looked into this, and clearly El Presidente kept his promise. Maybe some of his constituents didn't expect him to be so brutal and bloody about it. Oh, I'm not judging. I would never do that. No, of course not. There was a problem, and El Presidente promised he would take care of it once he came into power, and he did. I mean, the average person doesn't have to worry about being robbed or murdered by a bandit if practically all the bandits in the country have been, well, yes, El Presidente has come up with some interesting punishments, many of them permanent. And, of course, when something like that happens, there are bound to be rebels, people who are unhappy, mostly friends and family members of the bandits, ironically. And they lie and they convince average people that their good president is evil, monstrous. He's just making the hard decisions that every leader is forced to make. No judgments here. But you wanted to learn about our pacification program. Well, it's very simple. We have developed a virus that can be transmitted to an individual, and once they enter a community or a neighborhood, the virus is transmitted through the air and it spreads. Now, this virus can be programmed. Yes, we do have that ability here. And the programming is that under normal circumstances, people will behave normally. But if a certain leader, such as El Presidente, gives a speech, it triggers the virus, which is deep within a person's subconscious, and causes them to become very docile and to basically obey, just like a very obedient dog. Oh yes, we've had excellent success. Well, no, I mean, it's real, and we will demonstrate that to you in a little while. Oh yes, we will demonstrate it. Now, you did mention that El Presidente had some concerns regarding immunity. Well, we found that those who are immune make up less than 1% of 1%. Yes, the immunity rate is pathetic, and we are working on eliminating it down to 0. Well, 2 years ago, the immunity rate used to be 12%. So, as you can see, we've made excellent strides with our virus, our programmable virus. Yes. Well, it's simple. We will send an individual who is infected into the problem areas of El Presidente's country. That individual will slowly infect others, and in about 3 months, we'll probably be able to cover the entire nation. Now again, there's no harmful side effects. No one gets sick. No one even knows that they're infected. That's the beauty of it. How exactly does it work? Well, once the virus is implanted into an individual, it lays dormant, and the virus is programmed on a voice modulation basis. Basically, all El Presidente has to do is give a speech. The virus will recognize his voice. He will make strong suggestions as to what the rebels should do. For example, surrender to his military forces. What the citizens should do, for example, turn in anyone who's a rebel, including friends, family members, parents, children, all of them. Yes. Well, that's the best part. This virus eventually burns itself out after 1 year. Yes. After 1 year. Plenty of time for a client to do what's needed. I mean, after all, if they need more than 1 year, that's just laziness on their part. Now, the way that we test to see if a person is infected is rather easy. Let me show you. Once a person is infected, we use a trigger word to make them very sleepy, very docile, and then we ask them to pick a color. Now, once the implantation takes hold, and again, it's based through infection through the air. Once it takes hold, the sample test will automatically tell the infected individual to never pick green. Never. Unless the person who influences their thoughts, their minds, tells them, my favorite color is green. What is your favorite color? The individual, despite being given an earlier command through the virus to never pick green, will always pick green if they receive that trigger word. Isn't that wonderful? Well, yes, it is a form of mind control, but that's what El Presidente will be paying for. Once the rebellion is put down, and El Presidente can do whatever he wishes. He can put the rebels in prison, he can put the rebels in work camps. Heck, he could even command the rebels to put a gun to their own heads and blow their brains out. And our programmed virus will allow all of that to happen. Isn't that wonderful? Yes. Yes. Oh, yes. Every single virus comes with that pre-command. It's like buying a prepaid cell phone, and there's already a bunch of numbers in your contacts list. Same thing. The pre-command is never pick green, unless the person whose voice the virus recognizes says to pick green, specifically says, green is my favorite color. What is yours? Once the individual picks green, we know he is ours, or she. Oh yes, this technology definitely works on children. Well, don't look so upset. It's not like we're enslaving their minds. After all, the virus burns itself out after 1 year. So, no problems. El Presidente has 1 year to round up all the rebels. He could just strongly suggest in a television, radio, or over the internet. He could just tell all the rebels to come to the palace. They'll round themselves up for him. Oh yes, this virus is very advanced. We've spent the last 3 decades refining it. Oh yes, yes. No worries, no concerns, and after the year is over, no side effects. Well, while a person is infected, there is a 2% chance that they will grow very violent and lash out at pretty much anyone. Well, I mean, we're not perfect, but still 2%. That used to be 7% up until 4 years ago. So again, we're making progress. And if another rebel group after a year should rise up, El Presidente is free to come here, and everything will be taken care of. Yes, we'll take care of it all. Oh yes, we have a large number of clients. Oh yes, yes, yes. Well, almost every dictator. Yes, yes. Well, if I seem rather proud of that fact, I am. Well, here's the thing. Free will is overrated. Free will leads to chaos, anarchy. Why not simply have one leader in charge of a country or a region, taking care of things? The people are free to work, eat, maybe have a couple of luxuries, and a good, stable life. Our corporation has reduced war, pestilence, plague. We've done a lot of good, and all it involves is temporarily taking over the minds of the masses and making them behave. So what's the issue with that? Yes. Well, you do seem a bit surprised at my candor, Mr. Giorgio. Yes, I know who you actually are. That plan that you came up with, those documents, Mr. Giorgio, honestly, everything passed muster, except one thing. Yes, we don't have a Berlin office. As a matter of fact, we don't have any offices at all in Germany. None. Yes. I'm afraid you exposed yourself, Mr. Giorgio. You are an excellent reporter, but even for a journalist, you're not very bright. You thought you'd break this story wide open? I don't think so. No, I don't think so at all. Remember that drink you had when you came in? The one that our secretary with the low-cut blouse offered you? Yes. Yes. Your alcoholism is well known to us, Mr. Giorgio. Yes. We suspected you were a fraud even before you walked in here, and that Berlin office question confirmed it. Right about now, you're probably wondering what else was in that alcoholic drink besides ice. Well, let me ask you this, Mr. Giorgio. Do you see these colored pen caps in front of you? Yes. Yes. You seem a little drowsy, Mr. Giorgio. My favorite color is green. Which one is your favorite color? Go ahead. You can pick any of them. Oh, green is also your favorite color. Yes, that's very good, Mr. Giorgio. That's very good indeed.